Welcome to Court Vocabulary, presided over by the Honorable Judge Washington. Court is in session. Today's session will focus on 5 target vocabulary words and how they were addressed and used within the classroom. The intent for sharing the strategies as to how these 5 target words were used is to share how the students in my classroom were able to develop their vocabulary, extend their knowledge on those 5 target vocabulary words, as well as to recognize the relationship between the words. As I mentioned, there are 5 target vocabulary words, and they came from the 3rd grade selection titled The Trial of Cardigan Jones, written by Tim Egan. This story is about a moose who was wrongly accused of stealing a pie. The 5 target vocabulary words were supported by not only the curriculum vocabulary cards that are listed and posted in our word wall here, but they were also supported by additional evidence with the picture dictionary that our class creatively made with the time that they were able to use their computers. The 5 words included honest, murmur, guilty, trial, and finally convinced. Word number 1, honest, which means truthful. The students in my classroom had an opportunity to become experts with the following strategy. They worked a lot with synonyms, same, alike words, as well as antonyms, different or not alike words. So, in regards to honest, the classroom had a conversation about the word. They brainstormed words that were like and not alike with the word honest, and they came up with words. The teacher paired some words together, and as an activity, students were able to sort according to synonym or antonym. For example, dishonest and deceitful. Are those synonyms or are they antonyms? Or another favorite 2 words, fraud or law-abiding. Are these words synonyms or antonyms? Our next activity relied upon students utilizing their ears and listening to the hints that were given about our second word. This word had a meaning that meant a low, continuous sound. Synonyms would include grumble, babble, whisper. It's also a 2-syllable word, and it was a word that repeated itself. Do you think you know what this word is based upon the hints that were given? Well, the students really enjoyed making hints up for other words that they may have encountered in the story. But this particular word, based upon the hints that were given, was murmur. And there was a murmur from the crowd in the story of the trial of Cardigan Jones. And on our picture dictionary, it is the sound of people speaking softly. Well, as the students continue with working on words that were within our story, the 3rd vocabulary word, once again, relied upon students working with their expertise about finding synonyms for the following word. That following word is something that you may hear in the courtroom quite a bit. It's the outcome of a decision, which it could be either innocent or guilty. Guilty meant a person who did something wrong, or a person who was found in the court of law of not being innocent. So, students in pairs were given words that came from a list when they talked about the word guilty, and they were asked to just in a range determine how they would put some of these words. The words included felonious, blameworthy, wrong, and convictable. And based upon this collaborative activity, the students were able to work together in determining collaboratively how their ranking were pleasing to them, because there was no perfectly right answer with this strategy. But they were to look at the words and determine how they would put them in order. We really had a lot of fun doing this. Our final activity that we did together in small groups was based upon word knowledge up until the point of where they were, which was on trial. Trial was the final content word that they were able to share their background knowledge about. They have the opportunity to dramatically act as if they are their own judge and reenact a trial based upon the trial that they were exposed to in the story. When they were addressed in small groups with the word trial, they were asked, what do you think of when you hear the word trial? You may have heard lawyer. You may have heard about the prefix pre, because we talked about pre meaning before and pre-trial. We may have talked about murmur. We may have heard someone say there was a fraud trial, someone was guilty, someone was innocent. Each group who did this exercise in the end were able to take their organizer and refer to it when they wrote further about a trial and how their knowledge about a trial could be conveyed in a story. Finally, as I mentioned before, our final word was convinced. As a class, we all decided to work on convincing the Honorable Judge Washington in a mock trial. This mock trial was not based upon guilt or innocence, but it was based upon either a yes or no decision. The plaintiffs and defendants were two opposing parties. One side was for television when doing homework, and the other side was for no television when doing homework. They had to work on convincing the Honorable Judge Washington as to if they should keep the TV on or if they should not. They were able to participate in the trial, but most importantly, had to work on convincing me or making me believe that their side was right in their argument. The kids had a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun saying yes or no. And that is my final decision. I hope you all enjoyed learning about the strategies that were shared when we addressed the 5 target vocabulary words. We hope that they were engaging and that they will be replicable within your classroom. And I look forward to being able to continue with doing these strategies as we work on addressing the overall theme of good citizenship. Thank you.